Much like Jim Webb, I imagine I'm not going to be happy with how much I talk today. This is Cory, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to the podcast.
Sometimes I like to throw in like ones that are only going to be funny for like a week or two.
It's okay,
Like
though.
if somebody comes back on this podcast, like, 5 years from now and we're super fucking famous and they got to listen to the whole back catalog, they're just going to be like, who the fuck is Jim Webb?
And why did I pay $40 for this membership?
They'll look back
There's
on it.
nothing here.
They'll be like, oh, that guy who ran for president.
That one time.
And killed a man.
I was going to say, like Jim Webb, are you going to brag about killing?
We'll get into that. We got lots
good.
to cover today.
Yeah, so as always, thank you for listening. Make sure that you like and subscribe so that we know what you like and that you like us. I mean, we're really just... we're very
we're sad, pathetic, broken people inside.
Exactly, and the likes really do help us. So whether you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher or Dogcatcher, thank you for listening. Make sure you go over to iTunes, like and rate us. 5-star rating. We are a 5-star podcast. We need a 5-star rating.
Or YouTube or wherever you do it.
Go and like and subscribe on YouTube so you can get all our funny videos. Make sure you're following the Anthem on Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram too. Make sure you're following everywhere so that you get all the new information first. We do this every week for you, just for the feedback that we get. Even though it's Colin's always the first one. I want to put a contest out there for somebody to actually beat Colin.
Beat Colin.
Colin's up at 6 a.m. listening to the podcast, so be a better fan than Colin. There you go.
And you'll get a prize worth something.
It'll have a lot of sentimental value. We don't have any swag yet, but we're working on that. So
that'll be soon. So yes, we have lots to discuss today.
Yeah.
We had the Democratic debate. We have the LCS series in baseball.
Sports Bowl.
Mm-hmm. We have the Baltimore corner coming at you. Hot
of course,
as always.
As always.
But I guess let's start with how we're way in front of the curve.
Okay.
And
how we're geniuses.
Yeah.
Let me break out my crystal ball. Do I have it around here somewhere? Because you know what? We called it last week. For anybody who hasn't listened, go ahead and pause right now. Listen to episode 79 of the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can actually just click on the link over there next to Cory.
Sidebar.
That says FanDuel Fantasy?
Daily Fantasy.
Daily Fantasy. Click on Daily Fantasy, and then we'll give you a second to go. So, as you can see from that, clearly we are psychics.
Yeah. Clearly we know what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
I don't think that Daily Fantasy is something that necessarily, like, you would come to the Anthem podcast for.
Well, I think they come for everything.
Yeah, I mean, but the fact that we know a little bit about everything makes us very well-rounded and good.
We're like the New York Times now. Like, not everybody comes to us for news, but those that do, they know they're going to get it. So
they get a little bit of everything.
Right.
And they'll get it from a reliable source who's never wrong. Never wrong. You...
But yeah, so last week we talked about
sassing me.
Last week we talked about a couple of things. One, that there was a bit of controversy within DraftKings. So,
meanwhile, I still could give so little about whether or not this is gambling or not. I mean, like, I just don't. I don't like it either way.
Right.
It's the video slot machine to me.
It kind of is. Well, although I do like the video slot. You were telling us last week how you hate the video slot machines, though.
Just because I don't know, like, Did
I win?
Yeah. Part of what's so exciting about fantasy sports that I play, like the season-long fantasy sports, like the Posse League, is that I know what all the values are.
Right.
And I know where people stand, and I can chart it all. So, like, when I'm watching the Monday night game, because EP's got two people from the Monday night game playing,
right,
and I'm up by 18, and I need her to not score 18, so I get my first win of the year, I can say, like, oh, shit, she's up by 7 right now. And if they throw a touchdown
she's
pass...
down by 7.
Down by 7. Yeah. Down by 7. If if a touchdown pass goes to one of her wide receivers, then I am fucked.
Right.
Like a 20-yard pass with a touchdown at the end, like, that's it. That's the difference. So I'm watching the game going, like, For fuck's sake, don't throw it to Keenan Allen. Whatever you do.
Anybody else.
Anybody but Keenan Allen. Give it to Antonio Gates another touchdown. I'll make
he
Rob
did.
feel better about himself.
And he did. He didn't score the 30 I needed, but he gave me 21, which was not... I wasn't surprised because I thought he was going to have a big game.
Yeah.
But it was one of those, like, if you're not going to give me 30...
Feeling better about your life?
No. If you're not going to give me 30, I don't care. Give me what I need or not.
At least cover the spread.
Right. Come on. But, so the other thing we talked about was that there was a federal investigation.
Right.
And I said that you're going to hear something that's going to break out. And lo and behold, it looks like at least FanDuel is under federal investigation. I think the rumor is that when they said FanDuel, what they meant was daily fantasy websites altogether. So,
but Nevada's shutting it down. They're saying it's
Right.
gambling. So...
When they're not shutting it down, they're saying you need to get a license to do this.
Right. They're saying it's... Well, I mean, they're shut down in Nevada until they get the license.
Right.
But
And the way you...
they're not going to want to do that because...
Why we don't want to pay for it. We need advertising dollars here, guys. We don't have money to pay for licenses.
Listen, we're running very close on the money.
Right.
We don't have a lot of extra to be throwing around on licenses and business trading, blah, blah, blah.
Right, yeah. But yeah,
So they'll just add Nevada to another state that they can't operate in.
as well as the 3 that they already don't operate in. But, I mean, I think if Nevada says it's gambling, I think you got to get close enough to where you say it's probably gambling.
Yeah.
They're kind of the experts on that. But anyway, the federal investigation moves forward, and we'll see what happens. But I'm suspecting that, much like you called it, this is gambling. I mean, you can't put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
This is gambling. It's week to week. You calling a bookie is very little different from picking a fantasy team like this, and it's basically wagering.
Well, I mean... but...
By the way, I like to think that if you'd put a bet on the Orioles last year, that they would have won. Because we talked about doing it, and then we didn't do it.
I don't think that really affects
You
it.
had a direct impact on that team. That's what I'm telling you right now.
I don't think
You lost us the World Series. Basically, it's your fault.
Dan Duquette just comes out of the press conference and he's just like, all right, I'm going to talk about the 300-pound elephant in the room. Specifically 300 pounds, Corey, you fat bitch. Why didn't you bet on us in Vegas?
We had nothing to play for. Oh, well.
We could have rallied around that. Instead, hardcore fan Corey Baker didn't even believe enough in us to put $20 down.
No, not enough. To be fair, I think we were basically out of money at that point, so it's
I don't think it was that we were out of money. I think that we kept saying to ourselves oh yeah, we're gonna wake up in plenty of time to catch our flight in the morning. Then I'll be able to stop at the sports book and put a $20 on it.
It's open 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. And then and it's we have a 7 a.m. flight, and Zach pokes us at 6 a.m. and he's just like, hey, are you guys getting up? It's like, fuck.
Oh, fuck. Thank God we packed last night. Let's go.
To McCarran we go. Going back to Nevada, just because we touched on it a little bit there, do you have any thoughts on the whole Lamar Odom,
Well, so here's the thing.
Story?
Drug abuse and drug addiction is always tragic.
Yeah.
Even so, more so when, one, the addiction is so bad that it literally controls your life. And clearly for Lamar Odom, it's controlling his life. And two, when you have so much money that it just doesn't matter, your average drug addict's living on the street getting high to high.
Yeah.
When you got Lamar Odom money...
Getting $20 at a time to get a kick, you know?
Sleeping on the street because no money for rent.
Right.
But you got Lamar Odom, who really, the world's his oyster, but he's getting hotel rooms with hookers and all the drugs. Not even just one drug of choice. Just give me all of the drugs.
Yeah.
So I think it's super tragic. Part of me doesn't want to comment because he is incidentally related to the Kardashians, and I don't want to make that family any more famous than I have to. But I think that it's good for a couple of things. It's mainly that drug addiction impacts everybody.
Yeah. I don't mind talking about the Kardashians a little bit because I think it's kind of it's a little bit sickening.
Yeah.
Because, it is somebody who's going through personal problems.
Right.
And I don't know Lamar Odom that well. I mean, I don't know him at all, but
personally, not
of
friends.
him basically.
Yeah.
I know he's a good basketball player. He was a sixth man. He was a 2-time NBA champion. Like, that's all stuff he should be proud of. Somebody with a drug problem can't even peacefully die.
Yeah,
like
not if you're a Kardashian.
Yeah, not if you're related.
No,
because even if they're not doing things, so it's part of the. And I try and put myself in the shoes of what if I was married to somebody and then we got a divorce and then I found out they were in the hospital, on a drug overdose and they were close to death.
Would you go?
I would probably go.
Yeah, well, you're that kind of person. I would laugh and I'd buy an expensive bottle of whiskey.
I'd probably go, but do you think everybody else in my family would go too?
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean that just seems a little bit.
Well, maybe. Not everybody, but some members of your family might go.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems a little bit like...
Would the TV crew following the members of your family be invited?
See, I don't know if they're there. That's the thing.
Well, it doesn't matter, though, because it's going to be... It's not about Lamar. It's about Chloe and how she reacts to all this.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so
if Lamar were to pass away between when we record this podcast and when it's released, or even after...
Yeah.
It's all going to be about, putting Chloe in front of a camera crying...
Is it Chloe?
I think that's
Okay.
I think that's just kind of sick. It's so callous to think in terms that somebody would actually go to Vegas just to wait for somebody to die, but basically that's what they're.
Doesn't do him any good. If he survives.
The best case scenario is him dying for them.
Well, for them, I was going to say not for him, obviously.
For everybody else in the world,
they want him to live.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want nobody wants anybody to die.
Yeah,
but as far as publicity goes,
Chris is in there kicking out plugs, just hoping it's it's the right one. Hey, who stopped my phone from charging? Damn it! I just think she's the devil. I mean, I think that she is everything that the devil would be. How low can they stoop to try and get some headlines?
I mean, it's like a 3-pronged attack, basically. They have the incidental things, the things that they'll do that'll just get clickbait headlines across the internet. You're oh, you won't believe what Kylie Jenner isn't wearing today, and then you're oh my god, what's Kylie Jenner not wearing?
I don't do that.
And you'll see a picture of her just wearing a super V-neck or something that. And you're just oh man, I can see cleave. And
a return of the masturbation, yay!
And then there's the.
She's 18, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay, because that would be a little inappropriate otherwise.
I think so. If it wasn't, I'm speaking of the 18-year-old. I can't be. Listen, they all have fucking similar names, and I can't keep track.
Yeah.
Then there's the secondary con, which is the stumbling out of a popular club where the paparazzi hang out all the time, or LAX.
Right.
And going I don't want to answer any fucking questions right now. I'm too busy and important and I gotta get to something.
Right.
And they're just Kim, 1 second, you gotta tell us what you're wearing. It's no, I'm busy and important. And it's just then that shows up on TMZ of Kim Kardashian was, I almost said Kim Davis. Kim Kardashian.
Oh.
God hates blanks. And then there's the big cons, the sham marriages and the, getting together with Kanye West and the sex change operations and the.
Well, I was gonna say I put the sex change into the personal struggles that we can make a buck off of.
Right.
Because I, still even now, I think that Caitlyn went through the transition that she went through justifiably. That it was really a thing. I haven't been poisoned on that yet. But this Lamar thing, her transition is all personal struggles we can make money off of.
Right. I'm not saying that Lamar all of a sudden had a drug overdose and now he's in a hospital.
Right. Yeah.
Or even that one of the hookers that he was with all night was a Kardashian insider who put too much herbal Viagra in his system.
Although
you never know, I guess everything is possible. True Hollywood stories never lied to me before.
What would the family do for some publicity?
Did I
tell you that I'm now two people, I'm the last person they had sex with before they died.
Really?
Weird. It's a weird feeling. I don't know why that came to me, but I was like, holy shit. There's two people in the world that I was
not
with
anymore.
Before. Well, two people who died, and I was the last person they were with. And I'm like, fuck. So disappointing for them. It's not good.
They went out on such a low note.
They went really could have done better.
Yeah.
But, you know. So my message to you is...
Well, I mean, I guess it could have been worse. They could have slept with me.
Shorter, maybe. I don't know about worse. But my message to you all today is you never know when the person you're having sex with is going to die.
Sidebar. So. I saw a thing on... Oh, fuck. It was like hilarious Tinder things.
Tinder confessions?
No, like hilarious Tinder... what do you call it, I guess? Captions.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like underneath the pictures, there's a little thing. It's like... Oh, I'm just a simple librarian trying to live my day, life by life, blah, blah, blah. Love cats, ha. You know. But there was one that I thought was particularly funny, which was, let's have a who's better at sex competition. I hope I end up the sore loser.
Oh.
I was like, that's good. I like that. But can we take a quick break?
Sure.
And then we'll be right back with more of the Anthem fun.
Yeah, go ahead. All right. That's a good plan. Well, you know what's not making a wager?
What?
Riding with Uber. I just started driving with Uber this past weekend, and I got to tell you meet some fantastic people. You make a lot of easy money. I made $200 in 10 hours of work in the last 2 days.
That's almost lawyering money.
It's almost lawyering money with much less effort, and you meet much more interesting people.
And much less postgraduate degrees.
Very much less. But I got to say that... So
even Colin could do that job.
I wouldn't go that far. So...
well, with a couple accidents, old speeding tickets, we'll see.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is that... so for those of you who are on the Eastern Shore and listen, Uber is now available in Kent Island, in Greater Queen Anne's County, Talbot County, even here in Caroline, Cambridge, Salisbury, Ocean City. It's all over. Download the Uber app.
It's all over.
You can go to robertandcheek.com and find a link to the Uber app. And here's what I want to do. I want to encourage drivers to get out there because I think that, you know, people think more competition's bad. No, more competition's good. If we have more drivers, certainly then more people will use the app. So I have access to 5 people. I can make 5 people get in and start driving with Uber. So if you want to drive with Uber, I want you to stop right now and send an email to uberwithrob, UberWithRob @gmail.com. And for the first 5 people who send me an email, I'm going to send you a link to start driving with Uber so we can get some new drivers on the road.
You know what I'm thinking about doing?
What's that?
I was like, you know what? Maybe I should email him right now about it, just so I could get in. But then I'm like, you know what? I'll remember this later.
Yeah.
By the time I do, those 5 people are going to be...
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't do it now. Do it now because
I'm listening to
What's
it.
that email again?
I got my insider trading already.
Technically, it is a little because you're ahead of time. You could certainly jump in there. We got 2 people here who could jump in.
What's that email again?
It's
uberwithrob.
Uberwithrob @gmail.com. And like I said, for the first 5 people, I will send out invitations, private invitations to join Uber and be drivers.
Sometimes
Is there anything else we need to send with the message? Or just no subject, no body?
Just let me know that you heard it here on the podcast and that you want to drive with Uber. I mean, even if it's simple as, I want to drive with Uber, you send that to me, and I will send the first 5 people an invitation to join Uber. But for everyone else, make sure you download the app.
Does Uber see any of this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so I just want to make sure that we get drivers out there. And even if you don't want to drive, download the app, use the app. It's super convenient, and it's Uber. It's your private driver. That's the way that it works.
We took it to the game today.
Yeah,
to and from the game, because we stayed at my sister's place.
Right.
And, it was further than walking distance, so we wanted to take a ride and not have to worry about parking downtown, and it worked out really well.
Perfect. Yeah, and like I said, now I drive Uber X. I got to say, there's something a little special about pulling up in an Uber black car. That's something else. But you're gonna have to wait a little while on Eastern Shore for that. For right now, it's the convenience factor of it's all handled on the app. There's no cash exchange. There's no nothing. You select where you're starting and where you want to end. You hit call car, and within a few minutes somebody will drive up and pick you up. It's a fantastic thing, and obviously it's responsible too. Don't drink and drive. When you're going out on the weekend, call Uber, get a ride, don't drive.
Well, don't call them. Just use the app.
Use the app. You don't actually call. But again, first 5 people, you'll get an invitation to make some serious money in very short time. So I can't encourage you enough.
The other thing. And we're back.
Hey.
Sorry about that. I was just dying for a minute, but now I'm good.
Are you all right?
Yeah, now I'm better.
Segways are magic. And not the scooter, segue between segments. Anyway, so...
Segways aren't magic.
No.
You can die on one of those.
Yes, you can. I love watching the videos
of people eating shit. Oh, especially in the ones without the handlebars. Like, the ones like...
the hoverboards?
Yeah, like... Just people like I can see it when it's going wrong too. I'm just like, oh no, don't do that. Don't take one foot off. No, and then it's just like, somewhere in the video up here, just have somebody eating shit on a Segway.
I saw a really great video of a teenager who he was sitting out front and he was like, man, this little bitch keeps rolling past here staring at me. And you see the girl, she's going on a hoverboard just staring right into the porch at him videotaping, turns around and comes back, and then gets a little off kilter, and one wheel falls into a puddle. She eats it so hard, but her foot stays on the board, so it whips her around, and it moves her around on the ground. Oh, God, it's too much. Anyway, so, yeah, the future is now, 2015.
If you want more of the Anthem, otheanthem.com, Cory at otheanthem.com, otheanthem on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com for my political blog and news site, and everything else is up there, including links to Amazon to my books. So I appreciate it. I've gotten a lot of good feedback, actually, this week on the books, and it looks like the sales of Foe are going upward, ticking upward. So
maybe it's because it's being on display over here.
It certainly could be.
Buy Rob's books.
So I appreciate all of you who send me feedback. Please, I enjoy everything. Let me know what you think. So,
all right. Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good.
Are you going to let me talk? Everybody else gets a chance to talk, but I don't get a chance to talk.
I think you've been talking like half the time.
I want more opportunities to talk.
Well, anyway, as always, you're listening to the Oh the Anthem podcast, part of the Oh the Anthem digital network. For Cory, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening.